All right, we're about to do a super fast breakdown of these subconscious glitches in our brains. Yep, the cognitive biases that are quietly pulling the strings on our decisions every single day. This is all about the fascinating and sometimes kind of funny errors our minds are constantly making. So, let's kick things off with a true classic, one that perfectly sets the stage, the Dunning-Kruger Effect. This is that bizarre glitch where having absolutely no knowledge about something creates this false, totally unshakable confidence. It's the perfect example of how our perception can get completely disconnected from reality, and trust me, it's just the tip of the iceberg. So, ready to dive in? Let's get to it. We're going to start with the whole category I call assumptions gone wrong, and we'll see exactly how our brain stumbles when it tries to take mental shortcuts. First up is the mind projection fallacy. It sounds fancy, but it's simple. It's the assumption that your personal view of the world is the objective, one and only reality. This little glitch is why we get so confused by other people's tastes. I mean, have you ever wondered how someone could possibly dislike your favorite band? Well, that's the mind projection fallacy right there. Next, we've got the base rate fallacy. Here's the thing you need to know about our brains. They are not naturally good at statistics at all. We have this tendency to completely ignore the big picture numbers. That's the base rate. And instead, we focus way too much on specific descriptive details that grab our attention. Okay, so for example, let's say you have a friend who is super shy and quiet. Your gut instinct might immediately scream that they're probably a librarian. But is that actually statistically correct? So the answer, they are far more likely to be a salesperson. But why? It's simple, really. There are just vastly more salespeople in the world than there are librarians. The description fits our stereotype, sure, but our brain totally ignored the statistical reality, the base rate. And that leads us perfectly into our next big issue, our deep trouble with probability. This is what completely messes with how we understand luck and pure chance. This brings us to the gambler's fallacy. This is that bogus belief that random events in the past have some kind of magical influence on what's going to happen next. It gets its name, obviously, because you see it in casinos all the time, where someone on a losing streak is absolutely convinced a win is due. Just take a look at this. Your brain tells you that after 5 tails in a row, heads has to be next. It's just gotta balance out, right? But the reality? Every single flip is a fresh start. It's an independent 50-50 shot every single time. That coin has no memory. Now, here's what's so fascinating. Our brains can believe the exact opposite thing at the very same time. This is the hot hand fallacy. The idea that someone on a lucky streak is somehow more likely to stay lucky. We see this constantly in sports. A basketball player hits a few shots in a row, and suddenly everyone, the fans, the announcers, even the other players, thinks they're hot and they just can't miss. But statistically, each new shot is an independent event, just like that coin flip we were talking about. And our last fallacy of probability is the conjunction fallacy. This is when we're tricked into thinking that 2 events happening together are more probable than just one of those events happening by itself, which, by the way, is mathematically impossible. So here is how it messes with us. If I just say, Mr. John had a heart attack, your brain immediately starts adding details, right? You probably picture an older man having a heart attack. That story just feels more specific, more plausible. But here's the thing. The probability of an older person having a heart attack can never be higher than the probability of just a person having a heart attack. The more specific a story gets, the less likely it is. Okay, finally, let's look at faulty connections. This is where our brain starts connecting dots that, well, aren't actually there to be connected. This brings us to a huge classic error, confusing correlation with causation. For instance, it's a fact that in the summer, ice cream sales go up. It's also a fact that, sadly, drowning incidents go up. These 2 things are correlated. So does that mean that one causes the other? Is there some dangerous direct link between a scoop of vanilla and going for a swim? Of course not. It sounds ridiculous when you say it out loud. The issue here is a hidden third variable, summer weather. The heat causes people to buy more ice cream, and it causes more people to go swimming. The events are related, sure, but one doesn't cause the other. Now, if you take this to the absolute extreme, it becomes magical thinking, the deep-seated belief that your thoughts or little personal rituals can actually influence unrelated events. Think step on a crack, break your mother's back, or wearing your lucky jersey to help your favorite team win. Your brain is creating a cause and effect link where one just doesn't exist. And, we even use these mental shortcuts to dismiss other people's problems. It's called the relative privation fallacy. This is when we shut down someone's complaint by pointing to a much bigger problem somewhere else, as if that makes the original problem totally invalid. I promise you hear this all the time. Someone complains about their Wi-Fi being slow, and the response is, oh, that's just a first world problem. It's a classic example of this fallacy in the wild, dismissing a frustration that's real, even if it is a bit minor. And that brings us to the end of our little tour. But I'm going to leave you with one final question to chew on. Now that you're armed with all this knowledge about our brain's hidden glitches, the real question is, which one of these are you going to spot first? Out in the world, or maybe even in yourself?